Yes.
Good evening, sir. I'm Nikhil. I'm one of budding engineers, civil engineers. I'm in my final year now. After completion of my engineering, I'll go for my MTech 2 years, and after that, I want to be an entrepreneur. And the basic thing, there are two questions which I want to ask. After building a company, how should it be? Should it be a centralized unit or a decentralized unit? And the second question is whether go in depth or diversify a bit to sustain the company or to see future growth.
Well, you're looking too far ahead of yourself. First graduate, do really well, then get your master's, do really, really well, and then when you get an opportunity to build a business, and that business, depending on the business, you'll make all those decisions. That is, I think that's a little bit of the education in being entrepreneurial. When you're an entrepreneur, it's a delicate mix between being thoughtful and being visionary and actually doing things. There are people who actually do a lot of thinking. They want to think through the whole life, right? And then do things, which is good. It's good to be thoughtful, and it's good to know what you're going to be doing. But at the same time, people forget the fact that actually when you start doing, the amount of information that you collect when you actually engage in the business is 100 times more than what it is before you start. Right? So what happens with most of the businesses is that almost every business, people write business plans and everything else, but after you get started, it's more than likely that you'll be doing something different than what you really thought in terms of what you're going to be doing. Because when you start doing things, then you'll interact with the customers, you'll interact with the competition, with the other things, and then you'll really find out what people really need. And as you start creating that value for somebody who's going to pay you money, you may take a slightly different path. And so I think just having the desire to start something is a good thing. I think getting your master's is a good thing. And then you may want to work for somebody for a couple of years to create that value and to really learn a little bit more about the business. And then when you really have an idea, you can jump in and start. But I don't think you really need to know the kind of questions that you're asking. Those questions will depend specifically on the opportunity, on the business, on the industry that you're going to be in, and so on. And so you don't need to answer that part of the question. So if you were to actually start a company, by the time you make the company successful, you'll probably be crossing, let's say, 1,000 bridges. If you're going to cross those 1,000 bridges, it's unlikely that you will even know what that first bridge is. So being an entrepreneur is a little bit of that risk-taking mindset, where you say, I don't quite know where I'm going yet. I don't quite know all the bridges I need to cross, but I think I do know I want to get there. Right? And so a lot of it is sort of, you're figuring things out as you do things. And that's why entrepreneurship is not for everybody, because some people feel very uncomfortable with that ambiguity. Some people say, tell me everything, and then I can plan things for you and I'll do things. But that can't happen with entrepreneurship. So you don't need to start that journey as an entrepreneur knowing the whole thing. You have to have the confidence that you're going to figure out how to get the resources, how to get the team, how to get the right people to actually help you build these bridges and cross those bridges as you build the business. But I want to wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Startup is agile about the technology they are in. As much they are boneless, it's the same thing, because a big MNC or a huge organization may not budge to a lot of customers' demand and requirements, while a very small startup may have. So how does a small startup, which has all the limitations of all resources and requirements, will be able to meet the customer requirements that makes a boneless startup make a meaningful shift?
Great. Well, first let's give a big hand to Shashi. Because, he's an entrepreneur and you have a PhD, right? From IISc in Institute of Science. And he moved to Hubli about 18 months ago or something. He used to be the executive director of this Thai Hubli. And then he got sick of telling other people to be entrepreneurs, so he said he became the entrepreneur. And he's doing a technology, a machine that sorts cashews of different sizes. And as you walk out, you'll see his machine on the left-hand side, so I would encourage you to actually visit and see his machine. So, essentially, I think what happens is, it's true that when you do a product and you try to sell the product, you're a little company and you're trying to sell your product to big companies or people who have been doing things. And so those people who have been in business for a long time have an expectation that what you sell is perfect, it works every time, it has high quality, it does everything they want it to do, and so on, right? But you know that you just have a few engineers and your product is here. You know that in 5 years from now, it will be here. Right? So in 5 years from now, when you actually build the whole thing, that's what everybody will be happy with that, right? But you're not there. That's not what you have. You have this. So the successful companies get started by bringing so much value to the customer that the customer is actually willing to accept that particular product, right? So your cashew sorter is going to help people save a lot of labor issues, labor costs, and so on, and really get their productivity up. So you have to have a value that people are willing to accept the handicaps and accept because the value is high. For example, let's say cell phones, right? When the cell phone industry got started, if you had a phone, every time you made a call, every second, every minute, the call would drop. The coverage would be really, really bad. So you would think that if the service is so bad, why would anybody ever want a phone? I mean, maybe 5–6% of the transactions used to be fraud. But it's so convenient for a lot of businesses and so on, that in spite of all those limitations, the industry will grow. Let's take the internet. Internet about 20 years ago, I mean, it was very hard to actually get it to work. It would crash, it would sort of emails would not get through, and so on. And most of the people said, hey, this is going to collapse, it's going to melt down. But it didn't. Because the value is so high that people are willing to buy in spite of that value. But as the company matures, as the industry matures, as you sell from 5 machines to 50 machines to 500 machines, when you sell those 500 machines, it better be perfect, right? Otherwise, you can't build a business, your customers can't build a business. But initially, when you sell your 5 machines, you have to find customers who find the value enough in it that they're willing to work with you in spite of the fact that it's not a perfect machine. Does that make sense? Good luck to you. Are you getting tired? No?
Sir.
This is like Harikatha? We can go all night, huh? Okay. Any other questions?
Sir, good evening.
Yes.
This is Suresh Angli from Vortex.
Okay.
Right.
No, you can show. Yeah.
I just wanted to know, could you please tell me about your business abroad? That is first question. And second question is, have you ever thought of setting up your business in Hubli?
Okay. Well, I think I've been a part of chairman of maybe 13, 14 different businesses, but all my businesses have been very high-tech businesses. So in India, I have only one business, which is in Bangalore, and we do telecommunication products, which is high-end. And actually, they're slowly working with some of the companies in Hubli to see if they can do some of the technologies here. But initially, to get started, I think India did a great job of building telephone networks. China, in addition to building the network, they actually developed a lot of companies like Huawei, ZTE, and so on to make the equipment. India built good companies to actually develop software for foreign companies. Somehow, India totally missed the opportunity to actually build the technology to build these telecom networks. And in India, every month we had about 17 million new phones to the network. And that business, you know, the electronic controls, the electronic telecom equipment that we need, in another 10 years,